Good afternoon. I'm Will Baker, President of the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. Secretary Blinken, welcome to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation's headquarters, built 22 years ago, the first LEED Platinum building in the world, a model of climate change mitigation. The Chesapeake Bay is a national treasure. Mencken's immense protein factory, the crown jewel of the world's estuaries. A healthy estuary is the best line of defense for coastal areas against the impacts of climate change. And strategies to improve water quality, such as planting trees and reducing air pollution, also address climate change. Now that's the good news. The bad news is that almost every element of saving the Bay is made more difficult by climate change. More intense storms increase polluted runoff, erode shorelines, and damage wetlands. And warmer water simply holds less dissolved oxygen. So Secretary Blinken, on behalf of CBF's 300,000 members, thank you and President Biden for your leadership on climate change, environmental justice, and creating new jobs. Your approach is quintessential America, innovative, science-based, and practical. The Secretary of State of the United States of America, Secretary Antony Blinken.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And Will, thank you for a wonderful introduction, and thank you for lending us this absolutely spectacular setting and backdrop. Certainly the best setting and backdrop I've had in my brief tenure as Secretary. And thanks so much to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation for your lasting commitment to save the Bay. Chesapeake Bay was formed nearly 12,000 years ago by melting glaciers. Today, it stretches 200 miles and is home to over 3,600 species of plants and animals. 100,000 rivers and streams feed over 50 billion gallons of water into the Bay every single day. More than 18 million people live in the watershed, and many rely on it for their livelihood. The local seafood industry alone provides some 34,000 jobs and nearly $900 million in annual income. And yet, as Will alluded to, warming temperatures caused by human activity are transforming the Bay. Its water is rising, and the land, including where I stand right now, is sinking due to the melting of the glaciers that formed the Bay. If this continues at the current pace, in just 80 years, the Bay will extend inland for miles, overtaking the homes of 3 million people, destroying roads, bridges, farms. Many of the Bay's plants and animals will die out. So will the fishing industry. To my children's children, the landscape will be unrecognizable. We have to stop this from happening while we still can. I spend a great deal of my time focused on threats to America's security and interests, aggressive actions by Russia or China, the spread of COVID-19, challenges facing democracies. But an equally grave threat to the American people, and an existential one over the long term, can be seen right here on the Chesapeake Bay, where the costs of climate change are already manifesting themselves. Yet, from this very same place, we can also see examples of American innovation and leadership that, if taken to scale, can prevent a climate catastrophe and benefit American workers and communities. Maryland is committed to cutting the state's emissions by at least 40% by 2030 and to 100% clean energy by 2040. Maryland also offers farmers strong incentives to plant cover crops, which help trap carbon dioxide. More than 40% of the state's farmers are now using these crops, and countless others are doing their part to prevent climate change on the Bay, and often benefiting American jobs in the process. Just consider the Merrill Center building right here, from which I speak. When it opened 20 years ago, It was the first LEED Platinum building in the entire world, a U.S. standard for energy efficiency that has since become the gold standard globally. Around a third of its energy comes from solar power. It uses 80% less water than most buildings its size. Nearly half of the building materials, came from within 300 miles. Its design saves $50,000 a year in energy costs alone. A newer facility the Chesapeake Bay Foundation built in 2014 is even more efficient, reflecting advances in American design and manufacturing. It produces more energy than it consumes, and all the water it uses is captured rainwater. Its solar panels come from Oregon, its wind turbines from Oklahoma. These solar panels and wind turbines are American designed, American owned, American built. And people from around the world have come to study these buildings. It's changes like these that will help preserve the Bay as we know it, and all of the communities and livelihoods that it sustains. This is the blueprint for American leadership on climate, bringing together innovation from government and the private sector, communities and organizations, not just meeting targets for controlling climate change, but doing it in a way that's open, that's a good investment, that creates opportunities for American workers. The climate crisis we face is profound. The consequences of not meeting it would be cataclysmic. But if we lead by the power of our example, if we use our foreign policy not only to get other countries to commit to the changes necessary, but to make America their partner in implementing those changes, we can turn the greatest challenge in generations into the greatest opportunity for generations to come. Thanks for listening.